It looks like we are live. Welcome, 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 welcome.
Welcome,
This is Queen and
April.
with Q&A, and we're going to go ahead and start our intro.
Q&A with Queen and April.
That's
Here
right.
you go.
Welcome. If you are new to our channel, we would love that you would like, share, and subscribe. You can
Yes,
also hit the notification bell. And this way, anytime we go live, you will know that. So we would love that. And we are so thankful for all of our folks who tune in each week and all of our subscribers. We're just two chicks having a lot of time, a lot of fun here online with you guys with Q&A with Queen and April. We don't have questions. We don't have answers. We just have fun. So we'd love to
that's
have you
it.
guys participate as well. So if you have a question that's burning, if you have an answer that's burning, please feel free to chime in. We'd love to hear that from you. So Miss April, how was your weekend?
Oh my goodness. Let's see. After coming from my lovely, relaxing visit with you, I
I
had to
miss you.
jump. Oh, stop it. Look,
I
I had to
do.
jump. I had to jump back into motion. And when I tell you this particular Sunday, so Saturday, I took it easy. I chilled. I relaxed intentionally. But Sunday, you would have thought it was a Monday for me. I could not believe it. I had back to back appointments. I just was like, okay.
On the Lord's
But
day.
on the Lord's day. Now that's the thing there, right? Fortunately for me, I didn't feel bad about it because the Lord's day is every day for me. So if I have to occasionally have one of those work days, I don't feel so bad. But
Well, that's
yes,
good. Yes, you're
but got
supposed to be
quite a
in
bit
tuned.
done.
Yes, you're supposed to be in tuned every day, not just on a Sunday or a Sabbath or Saturday. So,
That's
but you're
it.
right.
That's it.
And with the type of work that real estate agents do, newsflash, it's not 9 to 5. It's eyes open, eyes closed. That's how my practice was. Not to say that was healthy or what other people should do, because I know my counterparts didn't do that. They were like 9 to 4, if that, and only take messages after a certain time and returning the calls. I didn't have that life. I literally, if someone
Hmm.
called, I jumped, I ran, I stayed up all night, I did the family thing, then they went to sleep and I started over. So I did an unhealthy practice, but it was very worthwhile. It paid off. It allowed me the life I enjoyed. I did have some severance of balance, but I was totally dedicated and eye on the prize. So, but I don't wish that on nobody, child. I'm so free.
Well, I will say this, just being a spectator of how you work personally, you truly exercise the greater later, right? Because now you're retired and there aren't very many people that can say they can, they're completely
That's
retired
correct. At a
at
young
such a young
age.
age.
Yes,
So,
yes,
you did the greater later. You played it
yes,
out to the
yes. You know what they
T.
used to
So,
say? Do what you have to do so you get to do what you want to do.
exactly. And you
Yeah.
planned for that. So,
I did, because one
you
of
did.
the things that this is a sidebar, guys. We can talk
Yes.
about this another time. But one of the things that I learned is when you work for a company, let's say you work 30 years, you get the watch and you retire and you get your little check and your social security, whatever, you have to dumb your life down. I wanted to plan the opposite: work young, retire, work until I was a certain age, and retire at a certain age when I was young enough to play and live higher than what I
Yes.
intended for. Because I think what happens is people start dying slowly when they don't have the funds they need to enjoy the time that they should. So if you're retired and you're free, you should be doing more. They're doing
Yes.
less. They're spending more time at the
Mhm.
doctor's office. They're doing quiet time. They're staying home. They're crocheting, watching cars go by, bingoing. They're doing things that are not enriching because they don't have the funds. And that's just the bottom line. So I wanted to do the
Yeah.
opposite of that. But we could talk about that. Could be a whole class. I would love to talk about those things.
Yes.
But
Yes.
let me tell you, my friend, shout out to Latoya, paid for my
Woo-hoo!
trip, my room. I had my own room and a trip to Miraval, dinner, the whole nine. She paid for everything. When I say it was the most relaxing, Every day that
Good.
we went out and came back in, I stayed in a room and I could just relax and think and do nothingness. It was the best of nothing. But the day at Miraval, which anybody will tell you, the vibe there is crazy. Like, I don't even know why we have to pay to go to something like that. It should be medicinal and covered by insurance. You got Medicaid, whatever. I promise you,
I
the
understand.
things you can't get that vibe because it's environmental vibe. So you got the vibe of
Mm-hmm.
mountains, you got the vibe of the people, the place. It's so when you get there, you put your phone in a sleeping bag right there, right off the bat. You know, you cannot use your cell
Mm.
phone. If there's an
Mm-hmm.
emergency, they need to call 911. Like, what? Why are you using your phone? Some people can
Right.
detach, and I couldn't at one point, but once I retired, I
Mm-hmm.
detached. So when you mad because I didn't answer, or somebody mad because they ain't hear from me, oh well, there was no emergency, so you just gotta wait. Even my kids, well, you don't even call me back. It took you 2 days to look at because you know they can tell if you look at the message now. It's all electronic.
Right.
I don't look at it. I literally turn my phone off at 8, and I don't wake up. I don't turn my phone back on till 9. So I be missing calls. They're like, I try to reach you. I'm like, I know where my parents are and I know where my kids are, so I don't tell you. And even them, I'm not even talking to them. But I enjoyed my time. It was
Good.
relaxing. It was well deserved. It was supposed to happen earlier, but stuff the bus took away that time. But when I tell you just having that and not having to worry about the finances of it, and I started feeling all guilty. I'm like, well, I'll call the Uber. She's like, nope, this is your birthday. I mean, we even had
Oh,
dessert. It was just stuff that I just was so pleased and thankful for someone to think of me. I never get
yeah.
that. I've never had a party. I've never been celebrated. I never do all that. I have to just do me and do others. And just to have someone who really took the time to intentionally spend resources, time, effort, and
Yes.
money to make sure that I felt good on a birthday that I couldn't even celebrate. I had to cancel and read book. But it doesn't matter
Yes.
when you celebrate because, like you said, as you celebrate every day, you know, people who celebrate being a part of the kingdom, if you have a birthday, life is every day.
Mm-hmm.
You could celebrate all
That's
year
it.
long that you have life and you have to wait till next year. So I never even
That's
thought
it.
about it as that. But I really, truly made this an event for my birthday. And I'm thankful that I was able to get someone to help me see that I was worthy and I deserve to have a celebration because I've never done it. And when other people see that in you and go, girl, you don't get this all the time. Tomorrow could be your last day. You never know.
That's
So you
it.
need to celebrate yourself and you need to be celebrated. So those are things I've never experienced as a person under the age of 50 something. So now I'm going to be more intentional about every day doing
That's
things
it.
for my birthday. Yeah.
Intentional is key.
Yes,
Intentional is
yes,
key.
yes. I always thought of it being
Oh.
self-centered. So, but anyway, today's
Mm-hmm.
topic we're going to be talking about, we
Yes.
also have our quote of the day because I like to always start with that only because it just brightens things up. And this is right in line with what we're going to talk about. And it says, one thing I have learned in life is that it's important to be comfortable with uncertainty. There are people who don't do anything unless they're sure about every little dot. I personally fall right into this category. I could do something fly by night and do it as I go because I'm not going to fail at it. So if I have to get in there and, change some things or tweak it, I'm not changing the prize that I'm getting. I'm changing
Mm-hmm.
maybe a little bit of
Mm-hmm.
the process to get to the prize. You get what I'm saying?
Gotcha.
And I can pivot
Yes.
and get there. Other people need to know the end result. Well, you can't because life
Mm-hmm.
changes. You could have known the end result in COVID, and what happened? You didn't know what the end result was
No,
because you
you
didn't know COVID was
didn't.
going to happen, right? You could have had
That's
all these
it.
plans, and then a storm hit, or a hurricane, or
Mm-hmm.
a plane crash. So sometimes you got to know how to pivot and rock and roll. You got to go with the
That's
flow,
it.
ebb and flow. So I kind of like that. Life is not always certain. And I know that for sure because I've experienced my mother dying last year, my sister dying in 2020, and none of those were, well, so and so was sick or so. It's just uncertainty, and those things we're never prepared for. So you got to be uncomfortable,
Mm.
a little bit to the uncertainty of life. And even in life itself, they say if you're not uncomfortable, you're not growing. So that's a good point
Yes.
that I like.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So what we're going to be talking about today, I'll let you go, April. It basically is about, I call it confusion real estate, confusion realty. What should I do and
Mm-hmm.
who should I choose and where should I go? I'm a new agent. I don't know what company is right for me. What say you, April?
Oh, wow. This is a great question. So, I think a lot of times the agents make the mistake of forgetting that they are the CEO of their own companies. So you want to select a company that's going to be look at you with the popcorn, that's going to that's going to benefit you the most. It's, you know what I
Good
mean?
point.
So and benefiting you, it's good to start off with a plan. What is your main objective, right, with your business? And you may not have all of the answers in place when you first think about that question. And so when you think about, if you just set like a monetary goal that you want to reach, well, now when you get the select your brokerage firm, and again, this is just my personal opinion, depending on where you're at, as far as your level of knowledge, you want to make sure that you have a firm that's going to teach you. It should have some sort of training program, system, process. It shouldn't be a situation where you're in there, thrown out with the lions or with the wolves, right? Fending for yourself. You should also find out if they have some sort of mentoring program as well, so that you can have someone who's willing to hold your hand, walk you through the process, allow you to shadow he or she, because some of us are visual learners. So having that practical hands-on experience really helps. Another thing you should consider definitely is your split. Um, we're in business to make money, not give
What's
it
a
all
split?
away. Well, the split is, so what a lot of people don't realize is when, especially sellers, right? Or even buyers, they don't realize that that commission that's paid or that's made on the deal of on a transaction, it doesn't go directly to the real estate agent or the real estate broker. It goes to the brokerage firm. And then the agent gets a split, a percentage of that based on the negotiated terms between that agent and their brokerage firm. So that's what the split
Okay,
is.
that makes sense.
Another thing you should take into consideration also are fees, desk fees, transaction fees. Those are some things that you really need to think about. Oftentimes, I don't know about you, Queen, but just in listening to agents, oftentimes they get in the real estate game already upside down because they haven't factored in or taken into consideration that there will be fees. Fees for marketing. That's another thing.
Mhm.
What type of marketing does your company provide you with? And this is number one for me. Does your company is your company in favor of you marketing yourself, right? A lot of companies want you to market the brand. Well, let's see. The brand isn't going out here meeting with the clients, going from house to house, door to door. The
That's true.
brand isn't answering phone calls wee hours at night for those who do that. It's you. So you should be able to brand yourself and be made to feel comfortable doing so. So that's just some of my take.
You
How
have some
about
really
you
good points.
as
I
you
like
as you
that.
crunch on your popcorn?
Yeah, I had to have my popcorn today. I was popping because I knew it was going to be juicy, so I had to get my popcorn. Mhm. Well, first of all, here's where we have to start. We have to start with knowing that there are different types of firms. Number one,
Mhm.
we can start with our career back in the day. I started a little bit before you, but I went to a firm because I wanted a type of position, and that was new
Mhm.
construction. That's a firm. There are
Yes.
firms that are 100% firms, meaning you get 100% of your money. There's no split. And in return, the company is going to get maybe a fee from you. There are
Mhm.
companies that are training companies. When you start out, they tell you, listen, off the bat, we're 50-50. We're going to train you. We're going to give you all this information. We may not give you any leads, but we're going to give you this. And then you may have to have a cap. It may not have a cap. There are companies that have not just only splits, but royalties that you pay internationally to a company. There are
Mm-hmm.
companies that will tell you that you have to pay a technology fee in addition to your other fees. Some companies take out taxes like B poll taxes, I know in Virginia. There are
Mm-hmm.
companies that are referral companies that literally will give you referrals and they will take 70% of your split, meaning you get 30, they get 70 because you didn't have the split to begin with. You didn't have the lead.
Mm-hmm.
So in order for you to get that lead, you got to work it for 30, but you may be getting a lot of referrals or deals in numbers. So if you're doing 30% of that, 70, they're getting 70 of that, percentage, you're getting a lot of deals. And of those deals, you're able
Mm-hmm.
to do more deals. So it just depends. I've seen it. There was a company, I'm not gonna call the name, in Virginia, it's a woman, and it was 70. When I heard that number, I was mortified, but they have to create the deal. So this is the thing.
Mm-hmm.
100% of zero is zero. So if you have no deal, you can't complain because getting the deal is how real estate works. You could be a real estate agent for years, but if you don't have a deal, you're not selling anything. And the idea is
Mm-hmm.
to make money and sell things. If the broker's going out and advertising on your behalf, you can advertise on your behalf. So one of the things that you mentioned was, how do you market yourself? Well,
Mm-hmm.
big brand name, I don't know if you saw my little meme, but big brand names do market themselves. The kicker with that is when someone buys from me, they're looking for queen. If
That's
I
it.
go to any real estate company, ABC Realty, BCD Realty, EFG Realty, they're
Mm-hmm.
looking for me. 95% of my clients have no idea which company I am in because
Mm-hmm.
they know who I am, they know my name, and they know a dream girl. They just know that. So they don't care if I'm with EXP or Keller Williams or whoever the companies are that both you and I have
Right.
both been with, or Leading
Mm-hmm.
Edge. No one cared either because they were builders. They were interested in who was building the home. They didn't even know I was with a Rosenwambo or a Leading Edge, or they had
Yes.
no clue. They're only focused as a consumer. So real estate companies started getting a little annoyed with that, and we're now changing it where we had to have their name bigger than our name. And they wanted to really push their marketing efforts. And while that's all cute and dandy, again, just for the new agents listening, nobody really cares about which brokerage you're with.
No, they don't.
Unless, unless there is a caveat, there are some really big exclusive name real estate companies, both in LA, New York, and Chicago, some of the big places. They do care what company you're with because the sellers know that those companies are exclusive to those type of deals. And they work a lot of things. I don't know what you call them, pocket deals, but they work privately with their celebrity type clients. And so they keep a lot of
Mm-hmm.
things to the chest. You wouldn't see them out here promoting it in the public. They only do it within certain circles of people who are affluent and highfalutin. Those are what they do. They have their athletes, they have their rich people, they have their, whoever the people that they know are who have a certain income. So if your income is under 1 million or 2 million, you wouldn't even be in the runnings for this type of firm. So in those cases
Correct.
aside, let's say it's just us and we're poor and broke and we just started and we don't know nobody and we ain't rich and we start a regular average agent. The one big thing you're missing as a real estate agent when you graduate from real estate school is knowledge. You can't buy it.
That's
You
it.
can't get it from anywhere. You have to do it in the field, hands on. You need to definitely, I don't care what name the company is, find a company that's going to give you the knowledge. Once you get the knowledge, there's a whole saying, everything is for a reason and a season. You may need to grow out of that company that's giving you all the knowledge and move into another company that may have something else to offer coupled with the knowledge, maybe the leads or whatever. Or you may be one like myself who, after I got all the knowledge I needed and knew how to train myself and knew how to network outside of my company and knew how to gain knowledge by reading and exploring and finding mentorship, I ended up working with a company that I could get all of my commission split and I could only pay a transaction fee to opening my own brokerage because I was conducting myself as a company within a brokerage. And I scratched my head going, Well, why am I acting as a broker under a brokerage when I could be my own broker? And that's why I
Mm-hmm.
opened up my own real estate firm. The only thing with that is you are the one that holds all the liability. You have to pay all the
Yes.
bills, which you're paying anyway. You have to create the marketing, and you need other people working with you, because if you ever end up in a dual agency situation, the broker and the agent shouldn't always be the same people on both sides. It can be very sticky and tricky. Not that it can't be done, because there's a lot of single agent brokerages that I know of. Little old lady had it for 50 years and she's just the same old one girl brokerage. She finds somebody every now and then that wants to buy because she's never going to retire out of real estate, and she takes them out and does whatever. It happens. So when the
She
market's
loves
hot,
what
you're
she
going to,
does.
she's loving. She's still handwriting the contract, and her number is 3, and everybody else is 6. So we know she's really scratching the surface over there, one leg out. But and her name is Anna Ruth. This is facts, guys. I promise you. I know this. I got a handwritten contract, and I was done. I knew it stunk from the beginning, but I went with it because she sounded cute. But that was not good. Now I'm gonna write this whole contract over, ma'am. It's typed up. What are you writing it over? Y'all don't know how to write this. Back in the day when we used. Oh, child, you still got a book with the
Just
listings
gotta
in
let
it?
it
Oh
go.
Lord. Yes.
Just
So they
gotta
don't want
let
to
it
let it
go.
go, and they don't want help, and they know what they're doing, and they want to outlive the game, but it's not going to happen. Technology is
Yes.
definitely, we're in AI right now. So if you're a real estate agent, you're not into AI, you're already behind. So it's a
It is
whole
so
new
true.
world. Everybody's doing everything electronically. Even the young
Mm-hmm.
people are now able to get into this game because they're there electronically. They just have to get knowledge, and they're going to kill all these old, my age real estate agents and beyond, even though there's still a personal touch to real estate. If you are young, you need a progressive real estate company. And that's how the online, cloud based, when they were doing it before COVID, no one was on board. But now we are seeing the technology of an
Mm-hmm.
agent can enjoy her weekend off at the beach because the house can show itself. They have ways
Yes.
of getting in. I just saw one I had to go to, and you have to type some stuff in, show your license, do a face recognition, and then they allowed you between
Mm-hmm.
6 and 7. After 7, you can't get in. You can go to the house on your own as both a client and an agent, and you could still get paid and be procuring costs if your client goes, because that's the wave of it now. That's the way it is, where you
Mm-hmm.
don't have to bother people. They could just still do it. But the real crux of it is the negotiation. So all that's cute, but the deal does not start until the contract is consummated. So people think it's, oh, you did this, you did that, you didn't do this. No, honey, I got to negotiate that. I need to then
That's
follow it
it.
through all the way until the end. And that's where all the hiccups happen between home inspections and
Mm-hmm.
other negotiations, and how the clock starts over. That's the thing that the clients may not necessarily see. So
Yes.
another thing that
Yes.
you mentioned was the mentorship. So if you have a brokerage firm and they offer the mentorship when a new agent is starting, and someone says, well, how long have you been doing this? You say, well, we've been doing this for 30 years. And look at you like, well, you're not even 25. Well, the bottom line is I'm working with the best of the best over here. I
That's
have
it.
April, and she's going to walk with me through this. Just like when I go to a restaurant and they have a trainee right there and she's never done it, she's going to drop a few plates, but yet
Mm-hmm.
she's got the guy who knows how to take the order, knows what kind of, words to use to make sure I'm happy, and knows how to refill my drink and all that. Everyone's got to learn. So there's nothing wrong with telling people that you're working with people who are more experienced, but you have to know how to do it. Because
Mm-hmm.
I'll be honest, I don't want anybody new messing with my money or my houses, and the biggest purchase I've ever done. But if they came to me
Mm-hmm.
earnestly with a person who has done it for 35 years with a gray beard and a bald head, I'm going to be like, okay, I see you working with, you working,
The
I'm working
first
with
thing
Willard
came
over
to
here.
mind was the first thing came to mind was, well, what if it was a female? But anyway.
Well, guys, I will tell you this. Real estate, like teaching, has more females than males. But the
Yes.
leaders and the owners of real estate are predominantly men. So are the superintendents,
Mm-hmm.
and so are the lead teachers. How that happened, I'm not sure. But if the 99% of them are teachers or women and 99% are realtors, Where these dudes come from, right? So it's one of those things where if you don't go own your own, you possibly may have a leader or owner that is male centered. So you have to think about that. And it's weird
Yes.
because we literally are the ones doing the work, and that's because we do the work. And I promise you, if women would stop doing the work and start delegating the work, we could be better at what we do. But we babysit it to the end. We're still working as a worker bee and not a boss, right? Cardi B said that.
Hmm.
Thanks, shout out to Cardi. So you got to remember, you got to remember that if you are boss worthy, you need to be in those positions and you have to fight for your own unfair share of the market. I'm very lucky. I never competed. Everyone knew me. I was popular. I was able to win because of my personality and my likeness, and also being out in the media. And I captured the media attention by having my own show and my own radio and things like that. And once you have all those things, you become sort of the pseudo expert. Because remember, I am tan, in case y'all haven't seen, take your glasses off.
You're so
And when you're
funny.
tan, a lot of times you're not there. You're not there. But once you get in the
Right.
media and once you get on a billboard, and I had one, it changes the game. And so it allowed the
Hmm.
traction. And because I also too believe I'm a person who is a good heart and I'm good at what I do, as well as I'm going to have a good high integrity and I'm going to make sure I'm taking care of my clients. It's not just about money for me. So when you couple those things together and you're on a billboard or on television or radio and people hear your name, and I had a catchy name, by the way. It was so funny because one person said, oh my god, you answered the phone. I thought one of the other dream girls was going to answer it, not knowing that I
Oh.
am the dream girl. It was hilarious. I loved it.
Listen, it's
I
okay.
loved it.
Well, you know what, Queen? There were a few things that you mentioned that I just wanted to be clear, bring a little bit of clarity to for newer agents that might view this or that are perhaps listening now. You mentioned the 100% company, right? And so there are those brokerage firms that do pay 100%. Let me backtrack. They allow you to keep 100% of the commission that's made off of a deal, and you just pay a transaction fee. But you want to be careful because there's a trade off. And generally, that trade off is no training and no type of mentorship. So for me personally, I feel that the 100% brokerage firms are really good for more
Experience.
experienced
That's
agents.
exactly what I was
But if
saying,
you are
that
a
you
new
grow up.
agent,
Yeah.
yeah, if you're a new agent coming into the game, don't chase after 100% because you will fail. Keep in mind in business, there is always, always going to be a trade off. And
Right.
then the other thing you were mentioning about the referral companies, right? Where you're getting 35% commission. And I was with one such company, and I did it under the guise of, oh, I want to do relocation, corporate relocation. Well, when you think about, when you add up your split with the brokerage firm and then your split for the lead that
Mm-hmm.
the relocation company sent you, when you add those numbers up, you're only really making about 35 to 40% on the deal,
It was
period.
30%. It was 30% that
And
deal.
you
Let's split
have to,
30%.
you
Got to do the
know, and
math.
it's a, right, you have to do the math. Now, as Queen mentioned, you get more deals because you've got the relocate, or you've got these deals coming in, being fed to you. However, you're still doing the same amount of work.
Amount of work.
It's the same
But
amount of
it's a
work
good,
that you're
again,
doing.
like I
Mhm.
was saying, there is a reason and season for everything. If you're hungry,
Correct.
you may have to do what you have to do, but everything becomes sort of a season. Now, I will give you another
Yes.
caveat from the 100% companies.
Hmm.
Even an experienced agent may really take a hard look at the 100% companies. I'll tell you why. If the transaction fee was $400 and you
Hmm.
did 10 deals, right? That's
Hmm.
$4,000.
Yes,
But
easily.
what if you did 40 deals a year? A cap might be
Ouch.
better. because you're adding
That's
up all
right.
those fees. So you got to be careful. If you're a hard thumbnail agent, when you sit, you're out here pushing the game and you're doing things and you're making all these deals, add up those fees. It may
Hmm.
be that you're paying more at 100% company than you are. I feel 100% companies for a retired person like myself. I
Hmm.
don't
Hmm.
do general real estate, but I may get a referral from someone. And I'm
Right.
getting a referral fee for referring them. Once I get paid from that brokerage, they're taking a fee out of my fee. So that
Hmm.
might be good because I'm not out here doing a lot of deals, right? I'm doing if it comes
Right.
my way, or I
Right.
may get it, and I still have my other brokerage. So it's not hard, because everything's 100% for me. But if I join another company, like another state, which I am, I do have a transaction fee of 390. But
Hmm.
if I were doing 100 deals a year, that 390 would not work at all.
Right.
So
Right.
that's why it's very important because most of those 100% is like 595 or some number like that. And if you think that's almost $600, you could really be spending over $30,000 on just the transaction fee. Something to think about.
Absolutely. So definitely doing the math, crunching those numbers is extremely important. Here's something also too, two things that came to mind when you were speaking, and we didn't mention this. What type of support are you getting from your broker? Oh, this is huge.
It
I
is.
know,
And
Queen, you probably have heard the horror stories where
yep.
agents have done all that they were supposed to do in a transaction and the deal went haywire. And that agent was
Broker
absolutely
gone.
correct in everything he or she did. And then again, the deal falls out and the broker doesn't want to back the agent up for whatever
Yeah.
reason. They just
Well,
want to
so
be
here's
like, well, I don't want to.
or a lot of times a broker may say to someone, fight your battles, move on to the next, put your energy in something else. But a broker should have your back. So here's the thing. A broker is
That's
like a
it.
relationship. You get with this guy, he's great. Honeymoon phase, they love you there because they got one more. Brokers make you broker, so they got one more notch on their belt. They're excited. They're going to get a prize for having one more recruit. Everything's great.
Hmm.
You love them. They love you. But as time goes by, they become absent. They're distant. If you're not doing enough sales, they're not really there for you. If you become
Yeah.
problematic, you need too much, you're too needy. Those are what happens. They start to kind of like not be there. So you don't know that until you're sometimes in it. And what's good
Hmm.
for the last agent who recruited you in is not always good for you. So they might be
That's it.
great with Mary, but you come in and they're not so great, or they're having a bad time, or they're menopausal, or they checked out, or they're on vacation every week. They're just not available. Yeah. And so it's
Right,
important to know
right,
that
right.
you don't have to go and stay where you go. You have to make sure wherever you go, it's a win-win for everyone because the broker's already winning.
That's
They're getting a
it.
split. You now have to get something from it. And I think the problem is it's reverse. The agent thinks that the broker's sort of um, like they need the broker, but they don't
I
realize the broker
know.
needs you.
The
So you
broker
need to
needs
go in.
you.
Right. The broker needs you because without you, the brokerage can't run because they need your commission, your hard work, and your labor. You're a slave at this point, right? So they need
That's
to
it.
you to till the
Know
crops.
your
If you're not
value.
out there
Know
getting a
your
harvest,
value.
yeah, if you don't have any harvest, there's nothing for them to get, right? So you can't
Hmm.
go in as if you need them. I do know that sometimes at the school when you take your real estate exam, they'll bring in certain agents. I know I was one of the ones that spoke, and you go in there and you can talk to the agents and so forth and so on. And everybody puts on a good show, right? We're all going to put the game face. You're all wanting to recruit and pull
Hmm.
in, different people. But the truth of the matter is, until you're in that, because I will say this. A small brokerage for me was a good place to be because I felt I could actually be seen. A big
Yes.
brokerage to me was all about training and classes, but I felt disconnected, right?
Hmm.
So
And
it
that's
was a little
definitely
bit different.
something someone needs to, yeah, that's definitely something one should take into consideration. That was a great
Yeah,
point
because the
there.
big brokerages may want you to just, like you said, push their brand. They're all about them. They need to have
Right.
many bodies. They're not thinking about people. They're thinking about bodies, and every body is a
Hmm.
dollar sign. And that's how they create their
Hmm.
business plan. And that's all cute. But I feel like at a small brokerage and I'm young or new, I may be able to get a little bit more attention, but then you'll have a small brokerage who doesn't even know how to support the agent, which is weird because if you came out of a bigger brokerage and started a smaller brokerage, you should be able to give them what you didn't get. That's why you started your own. So there's a whole plethora of different types of real estate companies. And as you mentioned, you and I mentioned, when we first started, we went to a small firm that did new construction.
Yes,
And new
I loved
construction
it.
was where I love it. I still love Scott Ayers to this day. Hi, Scott, if you're ever here.
Me
I love
too.
him to
Hey,
this day.
Scott, if you,
He's in Florida, so it's so cool. We got to find out where he is and maybe we can go visit him. But he still owns
yes,
a brokerage. He sold his soul to the wrong people, but that's neither here nor there. And he
that's
still
okay.
has his rental part. But I felt like I got a lot out of that. And the training I got came from the builder, which is kind of different. So it didn't come from the brokerage firm. The brokerage firm was hired to gather a real estate company to get agents. And then the agent was trained by the actual builder's office. So it kind of was a
But
win
guess
win.
what? But guess what? If you did have a question for Scott, he
Oh, yeah,
had
he was
an
there.
answer.
When I did
He was
resale
such a
target, he was there.
supportive broker. Oh my
He was.
goodness.
Scott
You
Ayers
have a
always had
question?
my back.
Yes. You're like, okay, Scott, I've got this new deal and what should I
Yep.
do? And he was like, okay, well, what you want to do is go down to the
Yep.
county and you
Yep.
to the zoning department and you want to ask
Yep.
for blah 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 blah. And I just
Scott Ayers
felt
knew
like
everything.
I
He was the
was
best.
a expert, even though I was just getting started
Scott
with
Ayers
a
the
great
best. I don't know
broker.
anybody
Oh
better.
my goodness.
He's
No,
the
you
best.
know, one of the things that this is a little off topic, off subject, but because we're talking about new agents, because we're talking about what they should look for in a brokerage firm, sometimes agents get in the game and life happens and they find themselves not being as productive as he or she would really want to be or how as productive as they were intended to be. If you found, this is where you can look for a brokerage firm that allows you to hang your license, right, for a small fee. It is better than letting your license go inactive. So when you with a brokerage firm that allows you to hang your license for a small monthly fee, now although you're over here doing something and over there doing something, when someone comes to you with a real estate lead, because your license is still active, technically, you can refer that individual to a colleague who is actively working their business and collect a referral fee. Do
And
I
some
need
of
to
the
repeat
companies don't
that?
even charge you. Well, some companies don't even charge you a fee. They just have you as a on the referral side that you're inactive.
See?
So it's a
Yeah.
voluntary inactive. So some of them don't even charge you. So it depends on the firm. Um,
Hmm.
I know for a
But it's
fact
just a
that
great
you can do that.
strategy as a
Yeah,
new agent to think about. Don't throw away your opportunities of getting a referral fee because some money is better than
right.
no money. Hmm.
There's a
This
guy
has
who's
been good,
retired
Queen.
like I am, and he does nothing but
Hmm.
referrals, and he gets paid. He's doing 50-50. He picked
See?
an agent. He chose them. And that's the best way to go. And I think that's what I'm going to end up completely doing because I'm still got my hands in the pots, but I shouldn't have them in there. I don't even want to think about it. Just write me a check, deposit my money, and keep it moving,
That's
keep it
it.
rolling. Okay. So, but yeah, this has
I'll
been
call
good.
you
So
from Port.
I really,
Look, call me from, text me from Portugal, right?
that's exactly right.
I'm in
Well, I
Portugal,
do want to
right?
thank you guys. You guys have been amazing. I want to thank each and every person who's watching. And I want to also say if you have any questions or want to add to the conversation, please feel free to do so. We'd love it if you would like, share, and subscribe to our channel. Again, we're just two ladies having fun in
Yes.
real estate. We've been doing it for a couple of decades. And we thought this would be our opportunity to share as we retire out and pass that baton. So I want to thank everyone. This is Queen and
April.
with Q&A.
That's it.
Woo! I feel a glitch. What is that?
I
Q&A
know.
with Queen April.
Oh, this has been great. Thank you guys. Y'all have a really great day. Thank you for tuning in. Q&A with
So